If Mr. Herc has money, I would advise people who are still qualified enough to have it. Yesterday, regarding the qualification exam, I attended a town concert likened to enjoying an all-you-can-eat buffet. When questioned about my job, I mentioned possessing 5 national qualifications and working as an electrician with 3 of them. A role to write now because of one person. Since I didn't use my own value, I became a reinforcement that I could have it. No, because it's muscles. I just didn't understand the value of use, but actually He said he had the material he could have, but he didn't use it. So you just have to use it right away. With your feet, there are quite a few people in that science field. That double body. So do you have a good style, a tall height, or a good face? I can hold it by the looks of it. When I started getting married in my late 20s, well, it's income or occupation. The ability to build and sustain a family eclipses other priorities in life. So if you do that, people majoring in science basically have jobs in their hands. They will lose money to a certain company. With proper qualifications in hand, one can secure meals, build a life together, establish a household, raise children, and balance part-time work with family responsibilities. The points are quite high. When you look at the man on the female side, the point changes. But since the man in the science field seems to have never been in a relationship, the woman, what I want from that man is changing. Sometimes you don't understand. I don't think I can have it for a long time, and since I don't have a girlfriend, I still can't have it. But it seems like he has a salary of 6 million yen like that double job. No, that's low and I want to try it with you. Actually, it's a treasure that he doesn't understand. There are times when it's like it's rotten. Moreover, the salary in the science field is high. In my 40s, I have an annual income of 10 million. There is a pattern where you get into trouble and end up single. In short, I think I've lived and won't be liked by anyone for 40 years. And furthermore, well, I think this is a misnomer. There remains a notably high percentage of single women in their 40s encountering various challenges and difficulties. In short, that there are elements that can be had. Those who have that desire to marry, in my 20s and 30s, I'm getting married. In my 20s and 30s, people who are not married for some reason, there's a high possibility that there is. So even if I try to date a woman in her 40s, after all, there is some reason for it, and there are cases where it is troublesome, or there are cases where it is beyond the point of view. In short, that a woman who became extremely popular in her 20s and 30s, I dated someone like that when I was in my 20s or 30s. I'm like that, something. You should be able to marry someone who is rich, good-looking, and stylish. Because the person I used to date is that kind of person. I just don't realize that my worth is already declining in my 40s. He's not only single and tall, but also financially successful. Someone with good style. Because I believe I should marry myself. Its style is also bad and ugly. But even when I see a science major and have a high income, I look down on it. Sometimes things don't seem to work out in the end. So if possible, before informing me, I would like to inform the men in science as soon as possible. I think it would be better for both men and women to get married early. Yes. That year, as experience increases, feminine power rises. I like people who misunderstand that their value will increase. However, as far as I can see, it's truly commendable that men exhibit significant feminine qualities, though such men are quite rare to find. I think it's a good thing that you have a high level of femininity. Among women, it goes round and round like this. I think it's nice to have cute nails. It seems more fashionable to wear different clothes for each season. From a male perspective, feminine power doesn't matter much. In fact, it's a negative factor. So, women who have become more feminine, in the end, she is said to have a high level of femininity, so she's evaluated among women. So I think I should be appreciated by men as well. If you misunderstand, it will make things even more complicated. No, compared to other women, I should be worth more. Why, it's like there's no way I'd marry someone so ugly. As for me, feminine power and naivety are different. You know, the problem of seeing too much. On the contrary, people who know the world well tend to be people. That stationary secretary or something. A woman who works as a secretary for a venture company or something. There is a problem of being patient. In short, isn't that politician after all an excellent person? Because that's how you can get votes from that voter. So when I look at such people up close, and the people around that politician are also excellent, well then, even politicians will lower their heads even if they bite a little bit from large companies. Considering everything, I believe I hold a similar position as well. So I also see politicians and business owners around me. Japanese men are at this level. It makes me think. Demochi, Ron, there are men like that, people of that level. Unfortunately, you're not a politician. I'm just a secretary. I too am with a man of that level. I believe I can share a meaningful connection with you and eventually establish a happy marriage. Venture-type managers, but, well, such talented people have a lot of money. The people you date also have a lot of money. So if I were to get married, I would be someone with this much money. It feels quite natural, I suppose, to dine at prestigious 3-star restaurants. Something like this. Reasonably expensive clothes. It's natural to buy bags. I think it's natural for them to give me something like that as a gift. I think it's common sense with myself. That's what I mean. Just go out to my own, based on the value of one person. It turned out that it wasn't worth that much. But because I can't admit it, it's going to be quite a big deal. It's a common pattern. It's hard to raise the bar. Well, I think it can't be helped. In the end. But how much you are worth. I think it's very difficult for that person to judge for themselves. There are people who believe that they are worthy. Don't you want to keep believing that? So you are free to believe. No one can stop you. So I kept believing that, no matter how much advice others give, I can't be heard. I think it's going to end up in a state. I am a 24-year-old civil servant nurse. Even in my 4th year as a nurse, I began to feel the impatience of getting married. I do it because I often marry someone I know through the app, but it doesn't last long. The workplace is not all women. Everyone who approaches me through the app doesn't come right away. What criteria should I use to choose? Please give me some advice. Please date someone you don't know. In short, the profiles on the app are intriguing yet limited. It's closer to being reachable now. In short, something like that. I like that handsome guy. I think it's nice to be rich like this. Well, I think there are various conditions. That meeting seems to often feel like settling. And by the way, the people I meet on the app are not rock people. So if marriage is a genuine desire, why not ask your friend for an introduction? Middle and high schools, universities, vocational schools, etc. From that era, let's go on a group date with my boyfriend. That's what my friend said. It's like a group date or having a friend introduce you to me. Leveraging those existing connections would likely help more. It's even better not to think that you can catch the best opponent with that app. Basically, love apps. Well, that dating app is that handsome guy, that rich man, people of high social status. It's something that destroys those women who want to marry. It's like I'm going to eat like that, but I'm not going to get married. It's like I'm registered on a dating site. People say they don't want to marry women. Registered on a dating site? Well, I'm in my 20s and work at Google with an annual income of 10 million yen, but I saw it. Eat it all up. I deleted my account after it was crystallized. Possibly marrying someone from a normal and established company might work better. It seems like that pattern. Well, it's called the 8-meter rule. I was liked by 8 women in that 20% male school. It's called eating it up. So even if I try to find a decent person on that trapezoid site, scatter it. I can't meet people who eat everywhere. If anything, you will meet people of a lower level. 27-year-old bending and stretching. A man without a girlfriend. My annual income is 4.5 million yen, and I sent it from April and received 5.1 million yen. A promotion suddenly raises 1 million yen. I have a desire to get married, but what should I do to get married? Also, just thinking about this life, what about the possibility of being able to get married on a smartphone? Please have a Korean cat. If you're earning over 6 million annually in your 20s, statistics suggest the marriage rate might hover around approximately 60% or higher. So, unless it's very crafty or something, basically if there is 5.5 million, if we meet normally, I think he would be a good marriage partner. Please let a friend introduce you to me. If you use that trapezoid site, it says he has an annual income of 10 million yen, but there are handsome guys who are lying. Appropriate annual income. I wrote that it was a cyber attack because those people are eating everywhere. Even if I really had an annual income of 5.5 million, it's hard for that kid to batch ring. So it's not on that dating site, it's just an acquaintance. Whether it's a company business partner or a human relationship. I think you'd better find someone. It seems that the hurdles in wishes and marriage have come down. As a specific case, a condition set by women in their 20s might demand a man with an annual income exceeding 10 million yen 2 years ago, as noted on a certain website. Last year, the site was more likely to answer that if it had a certain appearance, it would have an annual income of about 8 million. I think this Gullies will be served more. But what about Mr. Toto? Well, in the end, to some extent, that realistic. I have to say something. He says he is starting to realize that it won't work in the first place. So I don't really like that. I think this means that there are fewer people who are passionate about those ideals. Thus, I foresee a continuous decrease in those idealistic expectations. Well, let us hope for a better conclusion. There are people who still think that Japan's economy has always been good. In fact, that real wage, I want to go down for about 40 months, go up a little and go down again. So I'll try to increase it a little, but the total is nearly 2 minutes and 50 months. Real wages are falling, sir. If you do that, your life becomes more difficult, or rather, it's a general feeling. I think it's only natural that those ideals will decline. It's just that, in terms of idealism, they say they try to decide their marriage partner based on their annual income. Values signal something is off, and perhaps it's better to refine and reevaluate them for better alignment. Of course, if you're going to get married anyway, it's better to have a higher annual income. Ha! That's right. However, that's something is natural and natural. Creating values means that average annual income is called the median annual income. I think the median price for Japan as a whole is 3 million or hundreds of thousands. So when it comes to values, you can't get married unless it's 6 million or 7 million yen. It's natural not to get married, and it's natural not to be able to get married. So, to be honest, men and women without money, life will be easier when you get married. For example, it will be cheaper for 2 people to control the rent of a house. Furthermore, sharing expenses on food could provide considerable savings for both parties. So, if you get married, all kinds of things will happen. Subsidies, etc. There is a factory. So it seems like I wouldn't get married if I didn't have that 6 million annual income. What is it? Rather, there are a lot of people who lose. Of course, you can marry someone with more than 6 million yen. People with high specs. I think that's fine. If you were originally married to someone about your own age, people who were quite happy, something like that, it seems natural to get married for 6 million yen. Because of my values, I misunderstood that. I truly believe it might occur that you can no longer perceive that joy as you once did. For example, something like that. Having an attractive or commendable appearance is certainly preferable and beneficial. It used to be vulgar. I think it was something like that. The point is, it's better to have money. Nice face? Isn't it better? It's better to have a high hand. If anything, it's something like that. The perception that seeking superficial attributes is inherently unrefined or classless, wouldn't you agree? I think you used to be strong. Of course, you are free to think. You can think, that's right, because everyone thinks so, that's right. It's beautiful at the end, even if you think in your heart. But even if you think in your heart that you don't like ugly things, you still don't like ugly things. It's different to say it out loud with that kind of story. After all, it's vulgar to say that out loud. It's better to restore your values a little more. As a result, I think the number of happy people will increase. In the old case, although it's ugly, because I work seriously. So since I lived that life there, well, I don't have to worry about living a normal life. So, there it is. Well, there are people who have children and live happily. No, and it's not that important. Is it bad to want to dream about someone else's dream before marriage? Isn't it good to think good? He has had no romantic experience due to an outbreak, but I had many opportunities to talk to men. The experience of dating is quick, and I'm curious about what other people will fall in love with. I use the idea of not wanting to find a better person, but wanting to be satisfied. If you do it, will your boyfriend be mathematized? There isn't. Also, it is the best relationship for making decisions. How many years? There is no optimal number of years in a relationship. So, if you want to know about your love experience with others, whether it's romance novels or romance movies, even when talking about friends, even if it's a strong board, as much as you like, you can see it. So it doesn't matter if I don't understand that. For the sake of a love that I enjoy myself, even though I have a good boyfriend on such good terms, it's better not to do something that doesn't make sense to throw it away. This is called the marriage bream problem. There are quite a few. That person from before, I believe there's potential to achieve even greater heights than before. In short, this is that.
Marry that person.
I'm going to, but rather than merely writing about seeking a better match, I'm introspectively reflecting on my desires. I'm not convinced. So, why aren't you convinced? Personally, I question whether it's possible to discover a deeper love and a more meaningful relationship. I can't completely deny the possibility.
And this is...
Can't deny it. And undeniably, this is the truth. With that in mind, so let's say it's the next new company and the next new start. When I was in my late 30s or early 40s, as a result, I should have married in my 20s. The only thing left for amateurs now is that winning lottery. But in my 20s, I probably should have gotten married under such circumstances. I said there should be someone better. As I age, I rely on dating sites like this. Recently, while browsing, I've met people with decent qualities, leaving me somewhat consumed. I said I could still go. I kept repeating the back, head, and hands, but in the second half of the fourth middle school, it's hard to know the loneliness that you can't have a hole. Since it might occur, I think it would be better to get to know that barrel. Yeah, you've gained a little confidence. I understand the feeling of wanting to look for it because it's wearing a hat. But I think it's best not to get carried away. I'll eat it. A lot of things are difficult. So, that... To illustrate, I tied the knot with my long-term girlfriend.
Better.
Tie with her. If you told me that I might be able to get married, that possibility cannot be denied. So, for example, that I bought a dog. So then the dog I bought, if I told you I might be able to buy a cuter dog, that's right, isn't it? There could possibly be someone even more adorable. So, when I was born, I was in junior high school with my mother and sister. And perhaps there could be a better father, a more caring mother, or a more wonderful sister. It would be. But somehow that... Do we truly have no choice but to face the circumstances given to us? So I reflected on things and concluded that this is simply what unfolded. Well then, I'm going to live in it. There must be something higher up. That there should be a better hand. You don't think much about it. So why don't you think about this? Well, for example, so do my friends. So when you embark on a journey, you might relish a delightful meal, yet wonder if there's cuisine that's even finer. That there might be a better inn. When I remember, I'm going to be unhappy. Take off those life choices. There is a better option. It will never be proven that it doesn't exist. So, for example, then 8, I live alone in Yoyogi, check. Well, I'm going to do it in my Kansai region anyway. So, I thought it was a city with a lot of leeway, Miyuki Park. When I go for a walk, I come across Meiji Jingu Shrine. So, even when I went to Shinjuku for that drinking party, I can walk home. So, I think it's a good city. But if people say that Aoyama is a better city, well, that might be the case. If you say that Ginza is a better city, that's probably true. But it's enough to think that Yu-Gi-Oh is a good city. If there is anyone who thinks this Nakata is a better city, I think that's the case. So I think Ibaraki Prefecture is a good city. If there are people who think that Omiya said that, that's right. It's okay if those people think so. So what I have now chosen, as if it was good, it's better to believe. I think it's more fun. So that, I firmly believe there are a plethora of choices to explore. I think you're saying it a lot like it's a good thing. So what I chose myself, it's a good thing. So it's good and it's over. I try to brainwash myself. For example, me, sometimes Akabanen. I was born in a big city. However, I still think that attack is shit. But I think if I were born new, I would probably say that it would be better to live in a rough area. There's that nature, there's a river, and the rent is cheap. I feel like it's nice to be around people taking medicine and be free. So, among the multitude of choices, believing that surrounding circumstances and personal decisions are exceptionally favorable seems most logical. Something. It brings a lighter mental load, but regrettably my decision in hindsight may not have been entirely correct. There are as many materials as you want. if you keep thinking about it, don't you always have stress? So, basically humans, good or bad, apart from continuing stress is not a good thing. So, you can look at the grass next door. I looked at the grass next to me thinking it was shit. So basically me, you're making fun of others. This is me. I think the choice is right, but I think other people are probably other people and think their choice is right. I don't interfere with that. That you think your head is better. People in rough areas don't say anything. People from Adachi Ward are in Adachi Ward. I think it's new and good, so I don't think it's okay. Why is that? Having someone better than your boyfriend means merely having such an option available might contribute to unhappiness in itself. So, isn't your boyfriend the best? There are some shitty places though. It's better to keep thinking about it. Well, my life is short. I think the total amount of stress should be less. Oh yeah, another one. Humanity is all based on virtual simulations. Because it's running on a computer. It's all assumptions. Oh, in that context, I scarcely experience feelings of jealousy toward others. From my viewpoint, it surely presents substantial difficulty. I wonder what it is. For example, there are many men who are more handsome than me and who are more handsome than me. However, achieving widespread popularity remains a challenging feat. That's what I think. When I saw some strange person approaching, I thought, it's hard for strange people to come by. After all, if you have money, people who want that money come to me. I witness a diverse array of personalities seeking connections with my affluent friends. It looks tough, and sometimes I have to take care of people like this. So with that girl on the futon, I went in and drank that alcohol and lived a lazy life. It's better to think you're happy. In my opinion, life is fundamentally enjoyable and exciting, isn't it?